This is annoying. Why I have to wash my doll in the box, and it also has some marks on her face. Mattel, what is going on? With this attitude and you not giving a fly about your product, I might go and focus on the plain lines because this is ridiculous. I received a doll and I not only have to wash her, she also has a not very well printed brow. Or at least check the parcels that you are sending to overseas, because it's a pain for me to, send it back to you. And I'm actually not sure how you can send it back from overseas. If someone did a return from countries other than States, please let me know if you can actually return the dolls if they're not so great, because I'm scared that I will have to send her at my own costs, and it would be a lot of money, because when Mattel sends the doll, they use a cheap freight to send it as bulk to overseas, but I am not sure if you can do it, the other way around. In States, it's not a problem. You just issue a new stamp for the post and you get it. But for overseas customers, I have no idea how to return her. Unless Mattel wants to send me new dolls instead of this one, because this one is just... she had a rough life. I can tell you, she had a rough life. And this is $100 doll. That's what amazes me. No quality control whatsoever, or the quality control is like really poor. I don't know why Mattel is doing this, because it makes me switch to another, companies. Keep it up, Mattel. So I wouldn't buy your dolls anymore in the future. Okay, I fixed her. Mattel, you owe me at least the time I spent on fixing the mess you were not able to fix. And by the way, I still have some weird line around your hairline. I don't know. I might try to, wash it later. Just have a little bit of... Let's try if we can make it less visible, because it will drive me crazy that I have it. It's still there. No matter how I try, it's still there. But at least, I got rid of some of the shine that she had on her face. By the way, the camera is a bit lying in terms of the tone. I think that's the problem Mattel had when they were creating promo pictures. The more light you have on her skin, the more pale she looks, because she is a bit more orangey. And she also changes the tone, the undertone of the doll. So yeah, I'm not sure how to explain it, but basically any image of this doll that you see, it's not true to how she looks and appears in real life, especially because also any digital camera hates red or pink shades. It just goes like, this doll looks way cooler in tone compared to the real life. It's a much warmer tone in real life, and I think that's part of a problem that Mattel had, because it just looks so different in real life. Okay, so today I will talk about Barbie number 3 from the Pink Collection. I don't own the first two because I didn't understand the concept for this line, and usually when I collect the lines of the dolls, I usually tie them to a theme. So for me, all dolls look quite different between each other, and this one to me represents a flower. She looks like a peony or maybe a carnation flower, so I decided to buy her as going with the floral kind of theme. I really like this dress. I know it received a lot of criticism in the forums and in Barbie community, mainly because people thought that the fabric is cheap and nobody understood the correlation between the price point and with the choice of the materials for this Barbie. But I think the main problem here is that people don't understand why this line was created, and that the main theme is not pink. It's the main thing is celebrating of different materials for the Barbie dresses, and it's happened to be a pink color that they chose because it's iconic color for Barbie. And I am at the beginning, I actually didn't know this as well. It's when I started to read a bit more about the line and about what Robert Best was thinking in terms of inspiration for this line, because for myself, I just wanted to know where the inspiration for this design came from, and then I discovered that this doll was designed because of the material. So the angle and the key point here is chiffon. So I don't remember what was the first one. The second one is satin material, and this one is dedicated to chiffon. And the whole inspiration for this doll idea for this design was to represent the flowiness, the lightness, the fluidity of the fabric, and to show how you can use it in different ways and what you create with this type of textile. I actually really like this idea, and I wished Mattel would have pointed out it more to the people what was the inspiration behind each design for the doll, because the description that they have on the website doesn't tell you anything about the designer and the inspiration and the story behind the design of the dress, which is a pity because I really like this doll. I think it's gorgeous, and out of all three, this is the first one which actually drew my attention to this pink collection. I am not a big fan of Barbie. I had Barbie when I was growing up, and my mom had to. So I'm not from states or English speaking country, and my parents got it as an exchange with an American tourist, and my mom had to trade. Basically, she was producing some souvenirs for the like which are iconic in my country, and she traded her own work for a Barbie set, and I don't even remember what kind of Barbie set that was. I still can't find it anywhere to find what Barbie doll I had in my childhood. Yeah, so for some reason, whenever I'm searching for Barbies in 90s, I can't find the doll that I owned. But it was a superstar mold, and I actually hate this mold because of that, because when I grew up, I realized that my mom was fooled by this tourist in a way, because these dolls were really cheap in states. They were not accessible in our country at that time. So in a way, yeah, you can argue that it's not available, so you wouldn't get it in any other way, or you have to pay quite a lot if you buy it in the country. But keep in mind that my mom did something handmade for about a month to trade for a Barbie doll, which costs probably like $20 at max. I think it was even cheaper back in the 90s. So for me, I felt like my mom was fooled in a way, and it's also kind of got imprinted onto the superstar mold, and since that's the Barbie mold that we had. And also in my culture, smiling with teeth and this kind of expression, like, American smile is not a good symbol. So you usually look at it and you think about people being not very honest. I don't know, it's a synonym of hiding your true feelings, and trying, like, hiding your real emotions and putting a face up, Hollywood smile, making people believe that you like them or something, which is seen as not a genuine feeling that you meet when you meet a person in the first time. So it's a really strange cultural aspect. So for me, growing up, it was really strange that the doll was smiling the way she was, and the superstar mold wasn't something that I could see in the community and in the society at the time. So for me, it looked really strange. It was a really strange doll. I know a lot of people have nostalgia about it, and I think it's similar to Japan, where, you know, in 90s, along with the superstar mold, they had also a mold where her lips were closed, like when she was not showing her teeth. And I think our society was close to Japanese one, where this kind of smile and this kind of facial expression wasn't welcomed that much. It looked strange. So when I grew up and I looked at the 90s dolls, I actually discovered that there was a so-called Bob Mackie mold, and I love this mold. I think for me, 90s are represented with this mold. So if there is a doll that was produced with a superstar mold, which went to US and Europe, and then there was a separate release for Japan, which has Bob Mackie mold most of the time, or closed, like without the smile type of version, I would prefer that, and I would buy that. And for my collection, like in my collection, it's really rare for me to have dolls that have this type of smile, because it's fine. Like I grew up and I lived in the West, so I don't see it. Although sometimes to me it's still strange, but I don't see it as much of a bad sign as I used to, because there are people who do this where they are being just polite and they have the smile, but there are people who are genuinely happy to see you, and they're genuinely friendly, and their smile is not kind of a mask. It's their real reaction. It's just, in our culture, you need to get to know the person first, and then if the person smiles or you make this person smile, it counts a bit more, and it's more valuable in our culture compared to just someone who straight away shows you, you know, your teeth. It's a very strange concept. I think the same is in the Asia, in some of the Asian countries, where genuinely the dolls with open smile are considered to be vulgar, or but I'm here talking more about, you know, my country, not the Asian countries, but we are kind of close to each other, so it's probably genuinely how people in the Asian region see things. Okay, so apart from the face mold, because that's not the main thing, this is my first Silkstone doll. I usually don't like the dolls that are really heavy, because I always afraid that if they will fall and you have a glass cabinet, it will break. It will break the glass, or it will dent it, or the doll would get damaged because there is less flexibility, less give in the material in terms of allowing it to not break. So for me, so the whole thing with this doll came with this floral theme, because carnations and peonies are my favorite flowers, and to me this doll represents these flowers, and I think chiffon as a material probably represents the petals of the flowers, because it's really soft, and also it's really flowy, it's thin, it's wavy, it's not like, I love this doll. I think Rubber Best captured the essence of the material beautifully in this doll, and all the analogies that I see in these dolls in the design are speaking to me. I'm really sad people didn't appreciate just the pure inspiration behind it, because and there are not many reviews on her, because I absolutely love this doll. This doll has a really nice flowy, I will show you, a really nice flowy skirt. It's quite full. It has two underneath, and you can actually shape it the way little bit the way you want it. If you want it to be a bit more full, you can totally do this. If you want it to be a bit slim, you also can do this. So you can shape it the way you want. Also, all these ruffles that we have here are absolutely beautiful. It just looks like a flower. I don't know, to me it looks like a flower. Also, this is her belt, and it has a really cute bow on the side. I think it's also a nice touch, and it's also make it kind of more solid and more grounded. And also, to me, it looks like a flower. The skirt is like a flower and a bouquet of flowers, and then it's tied with a ribbon around the stems, and the upper part is representing maybe the closed flower in a way. And also, if you look at her bodice area, there is also a material underneath, which is also made, I think, from the same material as her belt, and it creates the top area, because chiffon is really transparent, so you can see the flash, and to cover the flash they did this part. And you have a two-piece stitched together, where the upper part covers this area. I'm actually really sad that it's not so. I think it would have been interesting for me if the skirt would have been a separate piece, if the belt would have been a separate piece, then and these two tops were separate, because then imagine that you can have a flexibility of taking out this upper part with the sleeves and with her collar, and just having this part underneath. I think it would have looked really cool. And I think this would have made this doll a bit more popular among the people, because the most complaints I thought about the design of these dolls is people didn't like the collar the most, and some people didn't like the collar plus the sleeves. So if you could have removed that part for those people who doesn't like it, and just keep her with this bodice area plus the belt plus everything that goes, just imagine how it would have looked without these parts here. And I think this would have gave a bit more, first of all, variability, because I would have bought two dolls then. I would have completely bought two dolls, and I would have displayed one like this, the second one without the upper part. So I would have like a more elaborated look and more simple look. And those people who didn't like this collar and area, like they could have removed it and have it as a more simple design. However, to be fair, I really like how she looks as it is, but I think that it would have been something nice if Mattel could have done it. Maybe that was part of a problem, because people couldn't see where the budget went, although I must say that it's really hard to do this kind of look with the material. With this material, I think it's even more difficult to create something nice out of chiffon just as it is, because the material is pulling. You can easily make holes in it, and I don't think that heavy fabrics are necessarily more expensive. It's not the fabric itself. I think it's the labor that goes into creating the outfit what counts, and the thinner the fabric, the more difficult it is to produce. So in my opinion, we need to be more acceptive, although I agree with most of the collectors that Barbie need to up their games. But if you look at this doll, I think they executed her beautifully. I think that Pink Collection is one of the best collections at the moment that we have from Barbie. One of the issues I personally have, I don't have anything against the design or against the materials that I used. I think it's gorgeous and absolutely beautiful, but quality control is again the issue, at least with my dolls, especially for international people. I think that's a key point, because if you can see here, my doll has a chipped brow, which is probably fine, but To me, it's really strange, and she also has some weird mark on her forehead. I tried to, and she actually, when she came, she was shining. Her face was shiny. It looked like they didn't remove, they use some kind of chemical when they wipe the doll after they do the screening, and it looks like it wasn't cleaned properly. And I had, her face was shining like someone left something on her face. And I wiped it, so most of it was gone, and it's just a small, like that strip of shine is now on her forehead, which annoys me. But other than that, I think it's not the worst case. I would have been more angry if my doll would have been extremely wonky, for example, because it looks like these dolls also have issue with how the eyes were placed, and mine is not too bad. I think mine is okay, and it seems to be a problem for every manufacturer because Disney store dolls also have sometimes wonky eyes. And the other thing that I don't really like about this doll is that her hair is heavily gelled. It's ridiculous how heavily gelled these hairs are. They are like yucky, and I don't like how they look at all. I like the idea for the hairdressing. I mean, I like this look and everything, but I don't like that it's so heavily gelled. I don't think it was that necessary. I will be washing this doll, and hopefully I wouldn't ruin her or mess her up. It would be a bit difficult because I don't want to undress her, so I will probably have to take some plastic and wrap around her to avoid water getting into the doll, although maybe it would be wise to undress her because I don't know how this fabric would react if you will have water around it. But I tried to unpin the dress at the back, and it wasn't a very pleasant experience, although these parts are nice, but it's a bit too stiff on her, so it's almost like it was sewn onto her, and it's really tight, so I'm really scared that I will take it out and I won't be able to put it back, and if I will, it wouldn't look as nice as she looks now. So I'm afraid that this part would twist or something. But yeah, I will try my best to wash her head. If something, they're still available and I can purchase one more. But honestly, I'm not a big fan of buying a lot of dolls, especially because of the exchange rates. And in Australia, it like with the shipping and with everything, it's quite expensive. $100 is quite expensive price to pay. So yeah, these are my thoughts on Barbie number 3 from the Pink Collection. I absolutely love her. I know people were also not happy with her skin tone color. By the way, on the camera it looks a bit more washed out compared to how it looks in real life. In real life she has a different shade, as well as the dress, by the way. It's more of a warmer color, and I think this is partially why people were a bit misled by the promo photographs, because if my limited light can create this effect, imagine when Mattel was doing official promotional pictures. It's not the photographer's fault, it's just how the material behaves with the light. It's really hard to tune it down and change the color, especially because modern day digital cameras do not like pink and red part of the spectrum. So usually when you are filming something pink or red, it's not accurate. It may vary. So this I think was the main point, and I don't think that she looks too orange, or maybe I was lucky that I didn't get a too orange doll, because to me she looks like just a tan girl, I would say. She's paler than me, but yeah, I think she just looks like a tan girl, and it's fine. It's not too orangey or not too bad. And also I think partially this effect might be because of the box itself, because depending on the color around your doll, you will get it either more pink or more yellow, or it's always in comparison with your surrounding and what makes the doll look the way she looks. Because if you look at her now, she looks, to me at least, she looks a little bit different in shades. So partially I think it might be the choice of the color for the box that mess things up. But in my personal opinion, the doll is beautiful. It's really nice. I really like her, and I hope you like it too. And yeah, please let me know whether you are going to add her to your collection, or you think she's not up to the price point, but I think she is. So if with Monster High I wasn't that happy with the quality versus price, here I can see where the budget went to, and I think it's absolutely beautiful, and the price is adequate. I think it could have been a bit lower, but again, the design, the materials, the boxes, like everything in this case, in this particular doll, I think is absolutely beautiful. And I think that this is just a gorgeous, gorgeous doll. And I'm really happy that she's in my collection. Oh. Okay, so I washed her head. I think she looks much better with her head hairs being washed, and it's relatively easy to do. It probably wouldn't even break the curls or anything if you don't wash it too harsh. Sort of massage it quite gently, and then you would be good with it. And yeah, I actually really like how her curls are still bouncy and they look really nice. Although, to be fair, I spent almost 40 minutes fixing her hair, not including the time that I had to wash it. So it took me about half an hour to brush her hair really carefully, not to break the curls too much. I loosened some of them a little bit, just a little bit, so they would lay nicely at the back. But overall, I think I did an okay job in terms of fixing her hair, and I think this way her hair looks much better compared to the heavily gelled version. And the good news, this hair actually dry quite fast, so I didn't have to wait too long to do this. Before and after, I think the difference is striking compared to what she had. Now it's bouncy and flowy, and it's not hard as a rock. Really like this doll. And I also loosened up one curl and put it to the front because of how it is at the promo picture. Yeah, I really like her. She's one of my favorite Barbies now in a really long time. Okay, just a quick update. If you want a video of how I was brushing her, I actually have the footage. I didn't talk during this process, but at least you could see what I'm doing with the brush and how I am trying to keep her as much as possible to her original style. I don't think I messed up much of it. I think it's pretty much just washing and brushing up her hairs. I didn't film the washing part for this doll, but I have the combing, sort of, so to say, part of her, and have a look at her being brushed up and prepared to shine in her glory. Thank you guys so much for watching, and see you next time. Bye bye. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time. Bye bye.